Okay, so hi everyone, and welcome to another of our Successful Coach interviews. And today I am joined by Helen Davies. I'm so excited to have Helen here because one, Helen is my go-to person for sales training and sales coaching. And Helen has also taught a lot of my students on my programs over the years. And I know the incredible difference that Helen gets just from even having an hour with you. I know myself the difference that has happened for me in terms of my ability to sell in a very loving way to clients, but also my confidence. And I've seen that translate to my students as well on the program. So I'm super excited to have you here, Helen. And I'm going to actually ask you to introduce yourself and just share anything else that you want to share, because I know you've got we had such a wonderful process coming up with the name of your business, 4 Sales Pillars. I know that's got a whole story to it as well. So, so I'm going to let you take it away and just share a bit about you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity, Shelley, to chat with you again, and also to everybody else in the group. I'm Helen, as you know, and my company is 4 Sales Pillars. So essentially what I do is I help people sell more with confidence and from a place of a surety in what they're doing. So it's based on 4 pillars. It's based on mindset, strategy, funnels, and profit. So you have that 4-pillar process. And for me, it's really important that people learn that selling is so much fun, and it can be a really engaging process, because when you are what I call a 5-star coach, you will attract 5-star clients. And what I help people do is remember that process and remember how they can actually attract people onto their programs, or if they have one-to-one sessions, whatever that might be.
Oh, fantastic. And I also know that you do amazing copywriting as well.
I
So
do, yes.
you help people to sell verbally, but you can also help them sell through their writing as well, through the copy.
Yeah, it essentially copywriting is selling in the written form. So I help people really connect with their clients, what's keeping them up at night, how they can find out exactly what it is that they can help, in ways that they can help those people, the outcome and the value that they can bring them.
Oh, fab. And I know also that when coaches are starting out, the sales bit can be the bit that really just they get terrified of. And I kind of know that for me, I wasn't really that worried about the sales bit because I've been a therapist for 10 years. So I'd kind of made lots and lots of small sales for a long time. So it kind of calmed that down. But I know for others, it can be such a sort of a scary process to go from never having sold to anyone before to then having your own business and actually trying to offer what you're passionate about, to people. And that can be such a hard process. And I know we're going to talk a lot about some strategies that can help them in a minute, but I'd love to know a bit more about how you actually came to become a sales coach in the first place. How did you end up doing what you're doing now?
Well, actually, it's a really funny story. I left university and I wanted to be a solicitor, and that was sort of like my main driving force all the way through school and my A levels. And then I realized I would actually be a really bad solicitor and it's not for me. So I did a non-legal degree, left university, and thought, well, that was kind of my fixation for all of this time. So what do I do now? And I saw this advert for a telesales person, and I thought, how hard can that be? It's good. It's picking up the phone, it's talking to people. How hard can it be? So I went to the interview. blagged my way through the job, never had picked up a phone, never done any kind of selling before, got the job. And on my first day, it was an engineering firm. So basically it was 35 engineers and me. And those 35 engineers hadn't seen a woman in quite some time. So I was a force of nature walking in, and I sat down. I was in the middle of the office as well, and one of the directors came over and said, "Oh, you're going to be the savior of our company, and we're really looking forward to having you," and kind of no pressure at all. And I somehow got tangled up. My chair got tangled up with my phone cord. Yes, it was the days before headsets. I am that old. And I got tangled up, and as I turned round, I was holding a cup of coffee, and as I turned round, it went over the chairman of the company who was standing behind me. So I covered him in coffee. So that was the first thing. So I sat down and I thought, right, okay, well, that's a great start. So let's see if I can impress people a little bit further. And I had a printed sheet of names to call. And I got really nervous because I had no idea how to do this, what I was doing, what I was going to say, how I was going to book the appointment. And I thought to myself, it can't be that hard. You're a bit nervous. It's fine. And I made every possible excuse not to start calling. And about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I realized I couldn't put it off anymore. So I picked up the phone, and before I could get out, "Hi, Helen, it's, I'm calling from," I threw up. And all of the nausea that had been going on in the whole morning, all of the anxiety, all of the nervousness just bubbled up, and I threw up. And I ran with the speed that Mo Farah would have been at, from the chair, trying to get to the ladies' toilet. And before I could get there, I threw up all over the floor, all over the commemorative plaque, all over the wall. Yeah, it was horrendous. I was mortified. And to cut a long story very short, the boss that employed me, and he was just incredible. He was amazing. And he said, "Right," because I was going to leave. I picked up my bag. I was going to leave because I was so mortified. And he said, "I expect you in my office tomorrow morning at 8:30. I will help you, and I will teach you to sell in the right way, because selling isn't selling, it's just a conversation. So remember that." And that's something that I have kept with me for all of my career. It's just a conversation, nothing else. And I got to be a very, very successful telesales person. I was top of my group. And then I went through various stages of selling jobs, and I set up my own telemarketing company, and that kind of evolved into commission-only selling. And when I say commission-only selling, it was very high, high commission packages, so 5K and above. And I loved it. I loved speaking to, I still do it now. I love speaking to people on the phone and that connection. And for me, what makes it so exciting, and this is what I want to bring for other people to enjoy it as much as me when they're selling their services or their program, it's not just a person that you're speaking to, it's actually a friend that you're making. Because I will tell you, when I've done commission only selling, I have made so many friends that have not just bought a program, but they've actually become my friends as well. And that's what selling should be. It should be that amazing connection, that spiritual exchange of energy. Because I tell people, it's all about energy. So when you come on a call and you're thinking, "Wow, this is amazing. I get to share this experience with someone. I get to change this person's life," that person on the other other end has that reciprocal energy, and you go, wow, we can do something really powerful. And it might seem a bit trite, but you can actually change a small part of the world. So from me doing sort of like that commissionary selling, the coaches that I was working with said, can you help me train my students? Because I did that with you. Can you do some selling with my students? Can you help them? And then it kind of evolved into 4 sales pillars, which is what I do now. And it's teaching all of those amazing experiences, that it doesn't have to be an icky thing. It can just be that complete state of flow and real enjoyment. But that connection is what changes your business, and it also changes the business of your clients as well, because you're having that impact on them. I often talk about ripple effects. When you're talking to somebody on the phone, you are changing them, but there's also this ripple effect. So you have something that changes the rest of their lives. So because you've had an impact on them, whatever it might be, if you're teaching someone, to be less stressed, like, with less anxiety, weight loss, whatever it might be, even to just enjoy life that bit more. If you're doing that, it's changing the people around them. It's changing their relationship with themselves. It's changing their friends. It's changing their work. So you're a huge conduit to change. I will breathe now.
I love that because you've shown like what a horrendous first day you had as a salesperson, and actually the amazing kindness of the boss, that he actually could really see. That's why he hired you. He could see that you were going to be fantastic and amazing, and that's what's happened. And it's great also the way you come to sales calls as well. The fact that you bring that enjoyment, that it's about sharing, it's about a conversation, and the fun to it. I think that's really important, because if you go into the call with so much anxiety, actually you're not able to really just share and enjoy the experience and show the person you're speaking to who you are, and have that kind of complete non-attachment to outcome. Just go in for the experience of helping them have a bit of a shift in their life, and I know myself, I don't actually myself go on that many sales calls with other people, but I've done a few recently, and it's been a really good, useful experience to have someone that I've been talking to who's been the sales person on, I've been the client, prospective client, and to feel that, to feel with that person that, the genuineness and the desire to help and just be a support, and that it's an amazing thing. It's an amazing gift. Anyway, I'm going to stop prattling on about that, and you talk about this because of your area. So what is the impact that you really wish to make with your coaching work?
Well, a lot of people that I talk to worry about being pushy or manipulative. They lack confidence on the phone, and a lot of times things come up like money mindset issues, and they feel that they can't ask for the sale, so they're worried about their prices. And sometimes people can talk so confidently about their programs and what they can do and how they can help people, but when it actually comes to saying, oh, this is what it costs, this is the investment, their throat closes up and they start feeling as if, they shouldn't ask. Most of the time, particularly if they're therapists, they feel that they shouldn't be charging a large amount of money. Sometimes they don't close the leads they get because they worry about following up. And following up is a huge sort of like passion of mine, because it's, the statistics are that people sometimes, you know, buy on the fifth time of talking to you, or the fifth time of interacting with you. Sometimes it's 7. People talk about the 7 touch system as well, that they need 7 touch points from you to actually buy from you. And a lot of times people think, well, I'm chasing them, or I feel desperate. And there are 2 things that I'm really passionate about. One is, I have seen a lot of people in my industry who basically manipulate people into getting into debt. So they will say, well, if you really wanted this, you would find the money. If you really wanted this, you know, you would sell your car, or anything like that. That's basically manipulative. And I vowed that I would never ever coach people to do that, because you give somebody the opportunity to work with you in that space of complete alignment, and that exchange of energy, and that person will move heaven and earth to work with you. I mean, I remember one particular occasion when it was 4 years someone took to work with me from the very first time we had a call. And they said, I can't afford to do it now, but I will come back. And I said, fine, no problem, left the door open for them. And they came back. I mean, they even sold stuff on eBay. So what I'm saying is that most of the time you will give the opportunity of people working with you. You will have that opportunity. They will come on board with your programs with confidence and joy. Sometimes that isn't the opportunity, so leave the door open for them, but keep following up, keep in contact with them, ask them how they're doing, send them things that really spark your attention when you think of them. It could be videos, PDF, anything. And that way you keep that connection going, and that's so important.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love that. I agree with you wholeheartedly about following up with people. And I've had a similar experience to you, where people I've spoken to maybe a couple of years beforehand then have come back. So 100% agree. The majority of people need longer than just one call to make a decision, especially if they really haven't got to know you yet. If you're not very, if you're new in business and you haven't really been putting much content out there, and they haven't been following you for a while, it's really important to see it as, to see it like, okay, I'm starting a new business. It's probably going to be 6 months before I actually see clients translating from the efforts in terms of the content I'm sharing and the marketing I'm doing. It may be sooner. I might get a few people sooner, but there'll be a bigger number that'll be watching, great clients that'll be watching and want to just kind of get that reassurance. Yeah, awesome, great. So I'd love it if we could talk a bit about the kind of common struggles that coaches have when selling their programs. And you started mentioning a bit about, the objections that people get. But I want to start, before we kind of get into that, I'd rather start a bit with, any advice you have for the actual calls that coaches do that will help them to, convert them into clients more easily. Because I see kind of actually just knowing what to do on the call and getting that right is really important to gaining the client. And I know a lot of coaches, they just sort of do a call a bit sort of haphazardly, when they're starting out. And, often it does work, especially if it's been a recommendation, someone's been referred to you. But any advice or tips for kind of questions that people should, coaches should ask on calls that will help them with gaining clients from that call?
Well, the first thing I would say is remember that selling is about helping people. It's not about manipulation. It's not about boxing people into a corner. It's about helping them get to where they want to be. So have a framework, and I'm going to tell you the 5 key questions that I use. Have a framework of the kind of questions that you want to ask your clients. So questions are your most powerful sales tool, and what they do is they create a little bit of magic because they focus on your potential clients, and it uncovers their pain. It also, by asking sort of questions, it sometimes uncovers the things that they've been hiding from themselves as well. So you get the opportunity to make them realize that their situation is untenable as it is at the moment, and they can make some really positive changes. And the people that my clients speak to is they need what you have, that they're in pain, they have and you have the solution to that. So these problems will affect everything in their lives. It will affect their relationship with themselves, with their family, with work. So it's something that, when I talk about that ripple effect earlier, that's happening with the situation that they're in as well. So when you're on the phone, there are key elements that you want to hit. So the first one is the introduction. So it's establishing the objectives of the call. It's saying, to find out whether you're a good fit for each other, that there'll be an opportunity to work with each other. And really what you want to do here is make them understand the reasons why they came on the call. So what made them reach out and connect with you. And the second one is establishing where they are now. So what you want to do is you want to look at why they're in the situation, what challenges and frustrations there are going on for them. And when you say to sort of your clients and you ask them, what challenges or frustrations are you facing at the moment, delve down deeper. So say to them, okay, tell me a little bit more about that. So ask a lot of follow-on questions. So when you've established what their challenges and what their frustrations are, what you want to do next is you want to look at where they want to be. So you want to look at what their future state would be like, what their goals are, where they want to be in a month, 6 months, 12 months. And one of my favorite questions to ask is, I usually use it as a year's example. So I usually say, it's the 23rd of May today. If we were having this conversation in a year's time, so it's the 23rd of May 2020, where would you like to be personally and professionally? So you're getting them to focus on that change that they're looking for. And it's really important to take really good notes at this point, because if they focus on where they want to be, your next question is, okay, well, this is where you want to be. So what could come up to stop this? And we're human, so there's likely to be mindset problems, there's likely to be sabotage going on. And if someone says throughout the call, I have time management issues, or, I get stressed very quickly, or I get overwhelmed quickly, you know that that's a potential flag, a potential roadblock. And that's where they're going to need your help the most. So if anyone says, I get overwhelmed quickly, what they want to hear is, actually, I will be with you. I will be holding your hand if you get worried about tech issues. I'm here. I will help you. We will do this together. And the final question, which is the most powerful one you can use, is you ask them, where do you need my help the most? And that's a really powerful question, because what it does is it centers them, one, on the fact that they need help, and secondly, why it should be from you. And you get to find out exactly what their needs are. And when you have those needs in place, you can then match your services, your program, whatever it is that you're offering, to those exact requirements. And when I talk about taking notes, don't sort of write long sentences. If you have an A4 page, you can split it into 3 sections, and you can split it into where they are now, what they need, and what their goals are and what they need. And then you can write just 1-word answers from those 3 sections, and that will keep you focused on what they're saying. Because I often say to people, it's not just what they say, it's the way that they say it. So you're listening to the curve of their voice, you're listening to their tonality. So when someone is really excited, as I frequently am, they will go, oh my God, this is amazing, I can do this, and this is my vision in a year's time, and I'm going to do this, 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 and this. If someone doesn't believe what you're telling them, they will go, oh yeah, that's fine. I get overwhelmed a little bit, and I worry about time management issues. So can you see the difference in the tonality and the pace? And when you're busy writing too much, you will miss that. Yeah. So sometimes it's more important what people don't say, because there's hidden things there to explore. So don't be afraid of saying, can we explore that in more detail?
Wow, great. Lots of really good insights there. And you've just made it very simple for people to know, exactly what to ask on a call, and how to help move their prospect through the stages that'll help them have those deeper realizations about what they're really needing and why they need your support. So awesome. That's awesome. That's so well. I know that a lot of people here are going to be wondering about, that objection, I can't afford it. And so I'm just going to come out and ask you, how can coaches handle that when they're getting this question, or they're getting this objection a lot on calls, where people are saying, I can't afford it. What should they do in that situation? And I know some of my students, it comes up, the first thing they think is, I need to drop my prices. And I try and say, it's not about your price. There's something missing here. There's something that your prospect is not picking up and doesn't understand about why it's valuable to them to work with you. So it's not about your price. But I'd love to hear from you what your advice is.
I agree. The first thing that I will say to anybody is, it's never about the money. Okay, when people say I can't afford it, what I always tell people to do is focus on what it is that they're saying. Are they saying your program is too expensive, or is it that they can't see the value? And if somebody says I can't afford it, it's because they cannot see clearly the value and the outcome that you will bring them. So if that comes up, what you need to find out is where they cannot see the outcome that you're going to bring them. So go back to the beginning of the call, where they were talking about their goals and what their challenges and what their frustrations are, and just say, okay, well, let's explore that in a little bit more detail. So don't be confrontational, just say to them, can you tell me more about that? Because if you get them to put it into their own language, sometimes it's a knee-jerk reaction because people are frightened of change. Okay, so you've had this amazing, powerful call, and that person on the other end is going, I really need to work with you. You're amazing, but I've been in this situation so many times before. They may have tried, they may have failed, they may have thought it's completely inconceivable. So get them to tell you what they mean by it's too expensive. And I can guarantee you money will not be mentioned. It will be other stuff. When that other stuff comes up, draw them back into where they want to be and how they want to change all of those frustrations, and then show them how you can solve that problem for them and bring them to the outcome, which is the goal that they're looking for. I could go on this for hours, but I know we've only got half an hour.
Yeah, well, that's it. Well, we've already come up to half an hour, but I think we can carry on slightly longer because this is so valuable. So I think that really was so helpful in just helping everyone listening to understand that it's not about the money, and don't be afraid of inquiring further. Don't let that be a wall where
Yes.
they can't afford to work with you. Don't let that be a wall that stops you from actually continuing the conversation. That's almost where your work has started, really.
Yeah.
The work at the beginning.
One thing I want to tell people is that when you say your price, do not say a word after that. So if your program is, say, £2,000, you say the investment to work with me is £2,000. Do not say, oh, you can have installments, or is that okay, or anything like that. Stop. Put your hand over your mouth if necessary. Don't do that obviously on video because people will see. But stop and say, and do not ever lower your prices. Value what you do and what you can bring, because the clients are there for you. Your soul aligned clients are out there.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. So tell us a bit about what has helped you to gain clients. I'd love to hear about how your clients come to you and what approaches you're using to gain clients.
Well, actually, I do a lot of cold calling to get clients. It's something that I started out doing for other people. So I do a lot of cold calling. I do a lot of cold emails. But one thing that I will tell you that was really fun is I was born in Zimbabwe, and my claim to fame is I once nearly got bitten by a crocodile. I was swimming in a lake, and as I jumped back into the boat, the crocodile's mouth literally came out of the water and missed my leg by half an inch. And I weaved this into a marketing campaign. So what I did was I did direct mail, and I sent a little toy crocodile with the direct mail and to companies that I wanted to work with. And I had an amazing uptake from it. I got 5 new clients from it. So what I try and do is do different things. So all of the amazing things that I'm doing at the moment in terms of calling people, but doing different things like direct mail and stuff, which is really, really fun. So what I'd say to people listening is, do something fun, do something that no one else would think of. And if you think, oh, that's a bit naff, no one would respond to that, you'll be surprised, because things that are unusual stick out in people's minds.
Absolutely. And right now, direct mail is huge because hardly anyone are actually sending anything through the post. So
yes.
You actually have, it's like one of the sort of quietest mediums, least traffic and least used. So actually, you probably have a much larger chance of actually getting your information looked at. Fab.
Oh, I'm also running a challenge as well in 3 weeks' time, so the second week of June. So that's the other thing I do to get clients in, as I run sort of challenges as well occasionally.
Fantastic. Well, definitely let us know the details of how people can sign up for your challenge, because that would be really great to share with everyone here. Fantastic. So tell us a little bit about how people can work with you. If someone's listening to this and they think, I'd really like to find out more about how I can access your services, how can they work with you? What kind of programs are you offering right now?
Well, I have three ways of working with me. I have a turbo selling program, which gets you selling fast. So it's working out your strategy, it's getting a funnel in place, and it's making sure that you have all of the great foundations that we've talked about. So mindset, confidence, making sure that you are really putting the value and outcome across on the phone. I have a group program that's starting at the end of June that covers a 10-week module. So I've rewritten that completely. So that's starting at the end of June. So there's videos, there's a weekly session with me, and there's lots of some question and answers, the usual group program format. And then I have a 3-month one-to-one program where people work with me to basically change their business. So you will get more clients and increased sales, change in beliefs around the selling process, increased income and profits, consistent income, and above all, a robust strategy in place that bring leads in consistently. And more importantly, you'll have a message that people understand, and you'll have fun, and you'll get new clients through the door.
Amazing, amazing. So what is the best way for people to contact you? What's your website address and email?
My website is www.4, so the number 4 sales pillars. Okay, it's being redesigned at the moment, so there's a landing page there. You can click on the button to keep in contact and know when it's going live. The best way is actually on Messenger, so you can message me from my profile, or you can email me, helen@4salespillars.com.
Amazing, fantastic. Well, it's been so good to talk to you.
I'm so sorry I ran over. As you know, I talk so much.
You did so well, actually. It's 40 minutes. It's not bad at all. So, no, that's great. And thank you so much for coming on and sharing all of your stuff. And every time I hear you talk, I learn new things as well. And I'm still with the image of your feet just escaping the jaws of the crocodile. So that's probably going to stay with me the rest of the day.
It was really funny because the person on the boat said, watch that rock there, and I'd been swimming there all of my life and I knew there wasn't any rock, and something just said, get out now. And I was like, as I got back, as I said, it just went like that. So yeah, fun experience.
Oh my God, that is just so scary. Oh my goodness. I am very relieved we don't have crocodiles in England.
Me too. Thank you, Shelley. Much love.
Oh, you too. I'm just thinking if we've got any questions. So I'm just going to refresh my page and just see if there's any comments that I haven't seen come up. Okay, so we just got one comment from Tiffany. She's just saying, love your integrity and heart, Helen, and she wished she could stay, but she has to go to the Olympia now.
Much love, Tiffany.
So she's taking this with her. So Tiffany, you can always listen back to what you've missed. And just, thank you so much, Helen. Like, it's always an absolute pleasure to talk to you, and I know this would be so valuable to everyone that's been listening.
Oh, I hope so. I could talk about it for hours, so I hope it was some use.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we will be having more interviews lined up. There's nothing in the diary as it stands for the next week. I think our next one that we've got lined up is on the 6th of June. But it's usually Thursday mornings at 11, so keep an eye out here on this space, and I will let you know in advance about the different interviews that are happening. So I'm glad you enjoyed the session today, and I look forward to seeing you on the next interview. All right. Bye, guys. Thanks, Helen, again.
Bye.